Warhammer 40k is coming to Magic the Gathering. And all I've really got to say to that is, why? What the hell does 40k have to do with Magic the Gathering? So apparently there's some kind of special event they're holding, and GW is leaping at the opportunity to be connected to another major mainstream brand. We saw how well that turned out with Marvel and the Marnus Calgar comic, which kills Marnus Calgar in the second issue. And after that simply just steams on with a completely new character, Tacticus, taking up the mantle of the Ultramarines chapter master. Brilliant. The optimistic interpretation of that series is that it would be a thoroughly mediocre comic that completely fails to capture any of the charm of the 41st millennium. A more realistic interpretation might be that it was Marvel taking the entirety of the Ultramarines canon, wiping their stinky, sweaty, freshly discharged assholes with it, and then handing the defaced, still drippingly wet and brown-stained piece of paper over to James Workshop, who then breathes deep of that Marvel name and brand value and just rubber stamps the bastard, not even bothering of the fact that they couldn't even get the Ultramarines method of recruitment right. I mean, hell, not even caring about the fact that they killed Calgar, the supposed character in the story. And now, they're partnering up with Magic the Gathering. Now, I would raise some moral and ethical questions around that, considering this is the company that dragged its heels like crazy over the fact that they were having convicted sex offenders, pedophiles, judging their tournaments, which had kids in them. Bearing in mind, too, they dragged their heels on this like crazy, even defending it out of background checks would be, it's unreasonable, it's too expensive, it's difficult, it is. Even going so far as to the whistleblower on this, my friend Jeremy over at the Quartering, they banned him. He was persona non grata for bringing this rather untasteful part of Magic the Gathering up into the daylight. And he was only actually reacted on after a bunch of people went over the Wizard of the Coast's head directly to Hasbro, their owners, and went, hold up, this is insane. And Hasbro then went, oh yes, no, fix this. What the hell is wrong with you? That's fine. Oh, and by the way, when it comes to finding one of their most popular artists, Therese Nielsen, I think she was Swedish, I believe. Oh, that's fine. A lesbian woman, by the way, firing her is easy peasy. We can do that like snap nothing. And why are we going to fire her, you might say, one of their most popular artists? Well, she follows the wrong people on Twitter. Yes. That's Magic the Gathering right there. Pedo judges? Minor problem. Background checks would be unrealistic. But following the wrong people on Twitter, good God, call in the Gestapo right now. This is unacceptable. This is the kind of companies GW wants to get in bed with, do they? I see. Right. Interesting choices there, most definitively. And this segues neatly into another thing, too. It seems as if GW has gotten into the warmth with the big boys. And why is that? What have they done to do this? Well, I was sent over this here. So I'm going to bring this up on screen whilst I read it on a second monitor here, because I was sent one part of this and I was like, this isn't real, is it? This has got to be some kind of bullshit, right? And so I asked the guy, like, can you give me the full thing about this? So he says that he's got a hiring application form from the Games Workshop, and I see the page he sends me, and I'm, Jesus, English art, sent me, and I'm like, this ain't real. All right, can you give me like the link so I can know it's from GW? And he sends it. And he goes, well, this is just a publicly available questionnaire, and he bloody is. So, diversity questionnaire. Right. Okay, so date of birth, that's fine. My gender is male, female. Okay. Do you identify as transgender or transsexual? If you're undergoing gender reassignment, please use the gender identity you intend to acquire. How would you describe your nationality and/or ethics? Look at this bloody block of shit. White British, white Irish, other white, Asian British Indian, Asian British Pakistani, Chinese, other Asian background. Why do you need to know this, GW? Why is this necessary information? How would you describe your sexual orientation? The reason why I reacted to this is, if you ask this shit on an application form in Norway, best case scenario, you'll get a really far-raised eyebrow or two. Like, this would be viewed as unnecessary information, as rude, as digging at best. Like, this would be viewed as just kind of like, what the hell? If not outright illegal. In fact, there are many countries where asking this shit is straight up illegal. Because what the hell? Why? Why does an employer need to know any of this? Religion. Really? Is that relevant to the application for a job at GW, to run a machine? To do painting? This is thing you need to know? So I sent this over to a bunch of friends of mine who live in England as well, and they're like, yeah, we've seen something like this, but nothing like this extensive. Like a diversity questionnaire is occasionally there as like a male, female, ethnicity, basic nonsense, but nothing quite like this. Sent it to American people too, and they're like, yeah, we've seen something like it, but not to this extent. Apparently, in England, this is a thing they track, though. This is actually a thing they care about. This is a thing the government might ask you questions about and threaten you with consequences if you're not diverse enough. Really. And GW decides to put this in their application form. Bearing in mind, there's no requirement to do this. You don't have to do this. But apparently they've chosen to. Why? Why, Games Workshop? Why is this information you need? GW has gotten into the club with companies like Magic the Gathering, a very diverse company, except of course when you're lesbian artists or following people on Twitter, in which case, eat us, delete us, toot sweet. And of course Marvel as well, a very diverse company too. Again, unless you're holding the incorrect opinions, of course. More and more, it feels like GW is kind of just slipping away. It's... I don't know, maybe I'm just being a grumpy old man again, but with the introduction of so much new stuff, so much stuff that doesn't really capture the spirit of 40k, and collaborating with companies like Marvel, who has already demonstrated that they are incapable of capturing what makes 40k great. And now Magic the Gathering, a company that I would think should be on most people's shit list at this point. I mean, hey, bearing in mind too, this is a very ethical company we're talking about here. Games Workshop had my channel blacklisted from year one, I've been told now. For what high crime? I don't even know. They haven't bothered telling me that part, or anyone else for that matter. But they feel so strongly about me that they are willing to intervene in legal contracts I have with other companies. That's okay. Magic the Gathering hiring pedos to work with children. What's the problem with that? We don't see an issue. Really, GW? I guess we shouldn't be looking into your hiring practices for your own tournaments, should we? God only knows what we might find. In fact, you know what? I don't even want to know. That's a string I don't even want to begin tugging on. I would like to keep some faith in basic humanity here, but alright, GW. This is the price you are willing to pay to go ever further towards the mainstream? Well, GW, by Big E himself, I hope you know what you're doing. I hope you know what you're sacrificing for that perceived popularity. Maybe I'm just being an old grumpy guy again. Well, comment section, you'll let me know if I am, won't you? So, let me know what you think. Maybe I'm making mountains out of molehills here, but you see too many goddamn patterns. Too much dirt thrown upon dirt until that molehill is growing awfully large and awfully consistent in its pattern of behavior. Anywho, until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.